Hey there, glad you're watching this video. Today, I want to talk about thoughts in relationships. Most notably, I want to talk about 3 ways that our thoughts hamper our relationships. See, I feel like if we dig through that, understanding the root of why our thoughts hamper our relationships, then we can start to fill the hole back in and stand tall. See, today what I want to share is from the author, the amazing expert in brain psychology, Dr. Caroline Leaf. She joined me on the Impact Driven Leader podcast a couple years ago. And as I'm going through relationships, talking about different things, today, I want to focus on thoughts. And there's 3 thoughts, 3 ways that thoughts hamper our relationships. The first one, this is one to me that I never really stopped and spent much time to focus on. And that is the relationship we have with ourselves determines the relationship we have with others. Okay, now wait, what? Yeah, the relationship you have with yourself. What do you think about yourself? Do you like yourself? Now that may be a strange question to ask. And there's many days where I didn't. And see, my insecurity overwhelmed me. This is what I believe to be true. I've yet to meet someone who, if they're really honest, doesn't have some type of insecurity. And I believe that insecurity spoils the thoughts we have about ourselves. See, that primary relationship, if we don't like ourselves, I don't know how we could like anyone else. Dr. Caroline Leaf shares this. I'm going to read it here for you, just so I get it right. The most important relationship we have is with ourselves. Yet often it is the one we neglect the most. When you treat yourself badly, the mirror neurons in your brain literally mirror that to others as information how to view and treat you. How you treat yourself tells others how to treat you. Whew. Well, that's unbelievable, right? If we want to like ourselves, want others to like us, we should like ourselves. We don't put up with bad behavior from others if we want to have good relationships. See, what I want to focus on most here is our personal relationship is often created by the example others share. Think about social media, our parents, those in other relationships. Maybe it's our spouse. How they react to themselves, that's how others will react to them. I see this as a parent. My relationship with me, well, that affects my kids and their relationship with them. If they're constantly beating up on themselves, I suck, I this or that, where are they learning it from? Are you saying that? Do maybe their friends or other coaches, their teachers say that? Well, then that's what they'll start to emulate. Malcolm Gladwell wrote in the book Blink about John Gottman. John Gottman's a famous psychologist, and he studied couples. And he knew within mere seconds, with 95% accuracy, who would end up being divorced. How? The contempt. The contempt they had for each other. Well, this is what's most interesting. As he discovered, as he researched, Dr. Gottman found that the contempt starts within. If you have contempt with yourself, you're not happy with your destination, what you've accomplished, who you are today, then it's going to be very, very hard for you to gratefully appreciate what others think of you. And so the contempt you have starts to spill over into contempt for others. Here's the next area where we hamper our relationships with our thoughts, and that is we compare to others. Now, this isn't a surprise. We see it all day long in many different ways. It can be, how do we compare with what they're wearing? How do we compare with what they earn? How do they compare with what they look like? How do we compare with a private jet? Or are they flying in coach? Are they driving a Ferrari? Or are they driving a Camry? They live in a large, expansive house? Or do they have an apartment just making payments? See, how we compare ourselves to others determines what we think of ourselves. If we think, oh, I got it better than them, then we have a positive outlook on ourselves. But if we think, oh man, I could never be like that, or there's something wrong, they must have stolen, they must have taken advantage of people, then we start to create that story. Years ago, like a generation ago, 20 some years ago, I went through sales training in my original career, nutrition for dairy cows. And I remember this day, and it's so vividly, the guy wrote it up on the big Post-it note. And he wrote the letters MSU. Now, I was a recent college graduate. I'm from the Midwest. I thought Michigan State University. No, it's not. Or it could be Montana State, now in the West. No, it's called make stuff up. See, when we compare with others, we're often making things up. See, they have all the things. There's something wrong with me, but we don't know what they do and don't have. I thankfully learned this a couple years ago from my mentor. And he really impressed upon me, Tyler, it's not about being better in the future, so far in the future that you can't see it. Just be better than you were yesterday. Work at whatever you're doing today so you're better tomorrow. When we compare ourselves to others, we take that out of our thought process. We start to look at someone else's beauty and talents and think, well, there's nothing left for me. Couldn't be farther from the truth. The third area that I want to express today, ways our thoughts hamper our relationships, is we associate past experiences, past painful experiences with current or future relationships. Well, my dad treated me this way. My husband's going to treat me the same. Oh, this ex treated me this way. My current relationship is going to treat me the same. My parent treated me, my boss, you see where that goes. See, we associate those past painful relationships. I have it in my life. It's kind of funny. I grew up on a farm. If you haven't figured that out, I did. Grew up on a farm. And one of my chores constantly, and it was always happened without fail, that our electric fence, their fence that kept our cows in, would break. The wire would be rusty and worn. It would just snap. Could be from weather, branch falling on it. Could just be old. It could be a cow walking by, slapping her tail against it. It happened. And part of my job growing up on that farm was to fix that fence. Now, there were times where I'd find the break in the fence and I wouldn't want to walk all the way back to the barn to unplug the fence, to come back, to fix it, to go back and plug it in, to come back and check that it was working. So I tried to find ways that I could fix the fence without having to do that. I'd use tools and pliers and so forth and so on. And every once in a while, I'd get zapped. No matter if I went and unplugged the fence or not, the next time I went to fix the fence, I would be a little leery. Did I really turn it off? Because I was thinking about all sorts of things on my way there. Or maybe someone saw it was unplugged and they plugged it back in, not knowing I was fixing. And a couple times you get zapped. You get real hesitant about ever reaching for the fence. See, I believe that happens in relationships. When we have people that zap us, we're real cautious about what kind of relationships we want to get in because we don't want that zing. We don't want that snap. Now, the reality is that shock was little more than what happens when I get out of my truck and I touch the key to the mailbox. You get that little zap sometimes. See, that's all it takes for you to be fearful. Oh, I don't want that again. Because it could happen. Any relationship that could happen. See, those are the thoughts that hamper our relationships. It's when we think poorly about ourselves. It's when we compare with others, or we associate past painful experiences with current or future relationships. I want to share this thought of the day as I wrap up today. The thoughts we have about ourselves, right up here about ourselves, lays the foundation for our relationship with others. My friend Colin Henderson shares, thoughts become actions. If we think people are going to treat us badly, then we open the door for them to treat us badly. If we treat ourselves with care, then others are going to as well. It's proven. Don't let your thoughts hamper your relationships. Thanks for being here today. Glad I could share these lessons that I've learned over the years with you.